You are listening to The Art of Sales. Everyone sells every day, and this is your source for conversational, real-world sales and prospecting methods that you are comfortable using and that get results. You'll help people buy instead of pushing them into being sold. Here's your host, Art Subcheck.
Today's show is going to be very brief in length, but it's going to be long in value. If you send out anything for your prospects to evaluate before they buy. Oh, and it also applies to sending out proposals as well. Over the years, I've done training with quite a few companies who sell things like their own training courses, and also software companies and other companies that sold products that were appropriate for sending out samples and demos of those products for evaluation. Now, the potential problem here is that it's real easy for reps to fall victim to this mistake that costs them sales. And that is just simply sending out the sample or the demo, hoping that it's going to sell itself. And then placing a follow-up call to simply see if they got it, or if they watched it, if they used it, if they liked it. And then they're waiting for a reply. Now, of course, as sales reps, we'd like to hear things like, oh, gosh, yeah, thanks for sending that. I loved it. Where do I buy? But more often, it's hearing things like, well, yeah, I didn't have a chance to get to it yet. Or, yeah, I don't think it's what I want. Now, what's interesting about the latter statement is that in many cases, they don't even know what they want. So therefore, they wouldn't know it even if they saw it. So that's why you need to determine their criteria for success before you even send whatever you're going to send. So, for example, let's say a prospect says, yeah, sounds good. Can you send me a sample of that? Well, a good response would be, yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to. Now, let me ask you. So when you get it, what specifically are you going to be looking for? Here's some other questions you can ask. So what will you have to see in order to determine if it's what you want? What are you going to be measuring? What criteria will be most important to you? And how much weight are you going to place on each one? Now, you can see when you find these things out, now you both know what expectations the sample or the demo or the proposal will have to meet in order to satisfy them. Oh, and here's another question too. You can ask them, this one takes a little bit of guts to ask, but it's maybe a lot of money, and that is, so if you like what you see, I'm assuming we'll be moving forward. Is that right? Now, in order to re-emphasize all these things in their mind, you also want to remind them of these criteria in an email if you're sending something online, or in a letter if you're sending something physical. And you can even go so far as to put together an evaluation sheet that has their decision-making criteria already filled in as headings for comments. So they can write those things down as they go through the sample or the demo. I'm not making this up. I have clients that have used this successfully. Now, also, prior to ending your phone call, you can pre-sell them on what they're going to get. And therefore, that enhances the chance that you're going to get a favorable decision. Because people are going to look for what they're told to look for. So for example, if I asked you to go outside and look for green things, guess what you're going to see? Now, to use this with your prospects, you could say something like, okay, Pat, I'm going to send you the link for the video on the team building training series that you're interested in. Now, since you said you're going to make your decision based on how well it's going to work in a manufacturing environment, be sure to watch the scenarios that begin at the 5-minute point into the video. Now, these were all written specifically for the situations that occur on the assembly line, like you mentioned. So bottom line, don't send out samples, demos, proposals, hoping that they will do all of the selling for you. Have a clear idea of what they need to see in order for them to make a positive decision, and then prepare them for what they're going to get. And then on your follow-up call, you can discuss their findings and their feelings in each of those specific areas, as opposed to just asking, what'd you think? All right. So, hey, you know what time it is.
Your attitude will be iron. Never will, never feel. What they say, it's the art of the sales. Quote of the day.
That's right. It's time for the quote of the day. And today's quote comes from Paulo Coelho, who is a Brazilian lyricist and novelist and has a very cool name. And Paulo's quote is, "When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too." Ooh, think about that for a second. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Speaking of making people better, how about letting a couple other people know about this show if you feel they would get value? Send them to our show site, theartofsales.com, theartofsales.com. And also, I've gotten a lot of questions from people who say, hey, Art, you talk about your books, but do you offer training? Well, yeah, I've been offering training for over 35 years. I've done over 1,500 training programs, and I offer training through virtual courses as well as customized on-site training for companies as well as customized webinars. So the best place to start would be this site, and I'm going to spell it out for you. It's my name, artsubcheck.training. So Art Subcheck, just like it sounds. It's ARTSOBCZAK.training. And you'll see all the options that we have there. Thank you so much for investing your valuable time with me. Until next time, go out and make it your best sales day ever. I'm Art Subcheck.